Today is March 15th, 2021. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. We'll first go down our usual agenda of release statuses. Starting with 119, we're just waiting on fixing the CSI proxy image promotion process. I think Jing started reaching out again to some test info folks last week to try to get this going again. I'm not sure if any progress was made, so we'll continue to sync up on that. Next, we have 121. We just hit code freeze last week, so I think we'll be concentrating on sidecar releases. Let's see. First up, I think this volumes in use change, I think, missed the code freeze boat. So if we want to do anything here, then we'll have to do it in a patch release, I think. But I think Hamat had some comments that maybe more things need to be done. So we'll follow up with Hamat on that. But for sidecar releases, I'm going to stop tracking this. So I'm just going to put it under to do. Next up is a performance E2e test. And it looks like this is just waiting on me. I think we wanted to actually see the results of this and how long it takes to run and make sure it won't bog down our CI. So I'll go ahead and follow up on that. Next, we have CSI migration.
Yeah, so I think for CSI migration, we have a race issue. Sorry, it's not a race issue. It's a bug in the volume provisions for migrated CSI driver have wrong provision by annotations, and I have to PR out for review, waiting for Yang's feedback. And also we have Azure Disk and Azure File upgrading their topology to GA, which I'll take a look.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. Those are the main things left.
Yes.
Have we upgraded the translation library and all of the sidecars?
I think for provisioning and resizer, I have done. For Tetra, I need to double check.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Oops, what happened? All right, next up we have snapshots.
Okay, so I think Grant is still working on this update, switch from update to patch. I think he ran into some problems with it because there's a strategic merge does not work for a strategic patch, does not work for CRDs. So he's looking for a different package. And the other PR looks like he has not, the metrics E2e test looks like he has not switched to make changes in the mock driver. So I will ping him. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thank you.
Xing, I don't understand what you mean by strategic merge patch doesn't work for CRDs.
Yeah, got into some error. Yeah, so
Do you mean the library that generates a strategic merge patch from?
Right.
the
He was
diff?
saying that there was some error he was getting.
Okay.
So now
But
he's
but if I make
switching.
my own strategic merge patch and send it, Kube API server will process it.
Oh, it
right?
works for you, you're saying?
Well, no, I mean, there's a difference between, does Kube API server know how to handle it versus can you generate it with a library?
Okay, I'm not sure, but he sent me an error saying that there's an error saying unaccept. It says unknown format or something. So he's saying he's looking for a different patch package, but I haven't got it and further update. So I'm not sure what is the solution yet.
That might be a very simple error if it's just like the content type got set wrong, or someone mixed like one type of merge patch content with a different type of merge patch content type.
Okay.
There might be a
But
straightforward way to
if
debug
you
that.
have something that is already working, then
Well,
you can share with me.
I always use JSON patch, but like, I don't know. Maybe if you could send me a link, I'm kind of curious now.
Okay, he said there's an issue. He actually pointed me to an issue that fails. So
Okay.
yeah, I just put it in the link if you want to take a look and see if this is something that you also run into. I just put it in the chat here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. All right, next up we have generic ephemeral volumes.
I think it's mostly done. The documentation PR is currently pending. The docs team had questions about documenting that there is special support for this in the what's it, for pod security policy thing, which is a part of implementation. I think it would make sense to document that, but they had concerns because it also is declared as deprecated. But that's something that the security team and the docs team need to figure out. But
Okay.
I think my work is done on that one.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Next up is storage capacity.
I have finished preparing all the changes for external provisioner. So there's now quite a long list of individual PRs against external provisioner implementing different aspects of what was missing. And I now need a reviewer for that.
Okay. I guess, is this something, Cheng, you can help
Yeah,
with?
definitely. I'm happy to take a look.
Yeah.
Sorry for the delay.
Some of these patches would conflict with each other, so it makes sense to start, I think, with the oldest one. In the minutes for today, I have a list of PRs open and in which order it would make sense to merge them.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And one of them is actually not just for storage capacity. It's about metrics enhancements in external provisioner. I asked about that on chat. We could enable more metrics data than just the sidecar method calls, and I've done that because I also needed to expose the work queue for storage capacity. So that is a more general PR, but I think it makes sense to do that.
Hey, Patrick, for that metrics one, should those be kind of general for any sidecar?
I think the other sidecars probably would need similar changes. Yes, I think it would make sense, but it is in the main function of the sidecar, so we can't really. It's not, well, it's just a bit of clue code that you need to
So you're
do
saying
to
that we can't really move that to the libs, right? The
No,
util.
not really.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's my question.
Okay, sounds good. I'll go ahead and start reviewing all those changes. Thank you. Next, we have volume populators.
Yeah, so the update here is I'm working on getting the 2 new repos ready. Michelle, you probably saw my request to create 2 new repos, and Saad suggested we choose different names. So I guess we're going to have to decide on the names. My question for you is, when we create new repos, do you prefer to create them as a clone of another repo or create them empty and then to check in the initial contents with a giant commit?
I think they end up, I think when the GitHub team goes and creates them, they create it from a blank repo.
You mean that they're going to have a skeleton they'll put in there for us that I
Yeah.
go on top? Okay.
Yeah. So I think if you go, oh, here we go. Yeah. If you go to Kubernetes/org and you open an issue, you can open a repository creation issue and then fill in all the details there.
Okay. So this is self-service now. I don't need to go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay. All right. Well, we
Or
still need to
it's
get
self-service
agreement.
in that you open an issue and someone else will go and create it.
Right, but we have to agree on the names, I guess, and then the rest of it,
Yes.
I guess they'll put a skeleton in, and then I can build on top of the skeleton. So that's reasonable. All right. Well, then
Yep.
we'll work on getting the names sorted out at tomorrow's meeting, and in the meantime, I'll be getting everything ready to go for those repos.
You also
Like-
search for
Alright.
some examples for there are several cozy repos opened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying you can look at those
Oh, look at the issues they
issues
filed.
and see how they open those issues.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I mean,
Shane.
there's already a big
Yeah, there are a
template
lot
here that
actually.
you can- So
Oh,
cool.
okay.
I mean,
Fun.
it's not, I don't think any of this is complicated. So
Yeah.
you just have to go down each question.
Okay. And from the moment it's created, it's going to have change control where we need multiple people to merge stuff.
You actually, so
No,
that's why
no.
I'm saying that you can take a look of the example. You put the
Okay.
names
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
There's already gonna be an owners created in there and also whoever has admin access to the repo.
Does that mean that at least for the first few commits, I can just push them without?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That'll be handy to get things started. Thank you.
Yep. Sounds good. Cool. Next is FS group. I think is Hamad here? Nope. We'll skip over that. Then we have volume health.
Okay, so I submitted a doc PR placeholder right now. Do we have any docs for the metrics? The kubelet metric stuff? Do we already have anything?
It would.
I didn't see
I
it.
think it would be under. It would be under metrics.
I don't
Some metrics.
I don't see metrics, so I'm not sure which category is metrics. Okay, I didn't see that, so that's why I was wondering.
I guess, I mean, do you want to document it under metrics or do you want to document it under volumes?
It could be under volumes, I think. I was just wondering if there is already something there, then I'll just add there. But if there's not, I would just create a new doc basically under volumes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't find anything about this other metrics. Maybe it's hidden somewhere. It's not obvious to me. I'll just right now just put it under. It's like a new doc under volumes, unless if you find some other place that is more appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good to me. All right, thank you. I think that's it for all the 121 features. If we go back to PRs that need attention, I think we talked about the storage capacity stuff. Patrick, you also have a host path changes.
Yes, that's right. I noticed that I actually broke something regarding CSI inline volumes in the latest update when I added capacity checking, and it turns out that we didn't actually run the corresponding E2e tests when testing PRs. That's why it slipped through. And that PR fixes both the missing test and fixes the bug.
Okay.
So basically an off by one
Sounds
error.
good.
I'm not sure what the original code was. It looked a bit fishy, but yeah, well. And then I continued with storage capacity. There's a related PR that adds the new maximum volume size. So the driver can report that in addition to available capacity. That's the second PR. And it builds again on top of the first one.
Okay. I guess my question is like, do we want to put this in host path driver or do we want this in mock driver? Because
yeah,
usually mock driver is where we put all the fake stuff.
I'm personally leaning more towards putting it into the host path driver because I think there is this one open issue. If you go to the issues, I have one issue open about a comparison of the features that we have in the two drivers. I don't think we can actually say that one is faking and the other is real because that argument, well, that yeah, I think there's two different ways how we could fake that. In terms of what we are testing, to me it looks like the host path driver is the more complete one. And I would lean towards actually making the host path driver the standalone driver that we test against and putting anything that we need into that one and moving the mock driver into Kubernetes, in fact, just for embedding and the JavaScript or the error injection part. And remove it entirely from CSI test.
I guess if we think forward, if we think forward in Kubernetes, we're going to want to have conformance tests. And I think because mock driver has all this error injection and stuff, then we will want to use mock driver for our conformance tests.
But we are removing the error injection, or at least the flexible programmable error injection from the mock driver. That was the plan, because it's not flexible enough to programmatically inspect arguments and do things like that. That is what is going to happen via Go hooks injected into the E2e test binary as part of each test. And that would be using the embedded mock driver that runs in the E2e test binary. And in terms of maintenance, if it doesn't really matter whether we have an external CSI driver in CSI test or whether we have one in the host path repository, it's really just a question of which features do these two drivers have and which one is the one that we want to maintain going forward.
Okay. I mean, I think that makes sense to me, but I think if this is the approach that we want to do, I think we need to get together a group of people to actually execute on it. I don't want to be in a state where we kind of have half and half and we still have to support
I fully agree. So that's why I have this issue open. I actually asked a colleague of mine whether this is something that he can look at. And he does have some spare time. He has worked with me on the PMM CSI driver, so he knows about CSI drivers. We could start working towards that extended host path driver that actually can replace the mock driver in all tests where we currently need to run something in the cluster. And I think it's really looking at this list, I think it's really just a very few features that the mock driver has that we currently can't do with the host path driver. And if we move those, then the CSI test mock driver will eventually become obsolete, and then we can remove it.
Can you give an example of something we can't do?
Credential checkings. There is some code in the mock driver. I'm not actually sure whether it's actually used, but there is some code where you can configure credentials. And I think I actually found a bug in that code, so I'm not sure whether it's used. The default, perhaps it was just the default function which was overwritten in anyway.
Right, but it's not that we can't implement it. It's just it's not
No,
implemented yet.
not at all. It's just
Okay.
really that someone decided I put this into mock driver and not in host path, and that's why we have to.
Right. So eventually we could implement everything in either
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
All right.
I think so.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, I think this would be something we should look more closely at, working on more actively next release, so that we don't continue sort of continuing down this path of having to maintain two different things that kind of do the same thing.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. All right, any other topics that anyone wants to discuss? All right, then we'll end for today. Thanks.